Hi, welcome to our next stretch, and that is chat stations. You can do this with or without technology. We'll talk about maybe what some examples would look like. Um, you would need, for the technology part, some sort of device, could be a phone, Chromebook, iPad, with a camera. And this will be done in small groups. This is a good way to get kids up, get some movement, discuss. You could sort of set these up for as little or as long as you'd like. And again, these are chat stations, and we're going to kind of modify them and call them QR code chat stations. So there's a video here embedded for more detailed directions or some ideas. But a lot of our younger elementary groups, they'll do small groups or stations or rotations every day. And as our kids get older, we tend to go away from that. It's maybe harder to set up or manage, or maybe the sort of lost some of its novelty. But it is a good way for every student to experience the topic, have the discussion, and also have their voice heard by just a partner or two partners instead of a whole classroom. So the idea is that we would set up a few stations or posters around your room. If we're doing no technology, those could be questions, discussion prompts, problems, all around. When we're talking about using QR codes, that brings into play the ability for that group or small group, when they go to that station, to access a video or maybe an audio file or something that would involve some sort of digital access, or a few things where maybe you wouldn't be able to print it out or make it accessible for that resource. And then at some time interval, those groups are going to travel from station to station. And doesn't have to be chronological. Actually, it's easier if it's not. That way you can start your groups in any spot. And then they're moving around, and then they're responding or performing some kind of a task. So for example, maybe they're watching a 20-second video, and then there's some sort of question and answer or a discussion they could have with each other. Maybe you want them to fill something out. Maybe it's in a Google Doc that's inside Google Classroom, whatever it is. But it gets kids up, it gets kids moving. It also, again, allows students to share their opinions, share their thoughts with a partner or a group that's not in a whole class where they might be less comfortable doing it. So some examples. Here's like some QR code things. Maybe you're going to look at a photograph or a painting, or like I said, a video or an audio, and then you're going to ask a question about it. You're going to respond with a question you have. You're going to answer a question. You're going to say who was right, who was wrong, whatever it is. The QR code aspect, again, allows digital access. I don't think we necessarily want to do a QR code that just goes to a question, because you could print that out and post it on your wall. But if you want to use QR codes, again, that brings in those digital resources. So here's a good example. Students are going to read a hot dog Eleanor Roosevelt throws a picnic. So that's our content. And then one of the stations takes you to a menu from the picnic. And then another one of the stations goes to this photo from the National Archives. And again, but it's digital, then they could like pinch zoom. So this is, I believe, FDR, Eleanor Roosevelt, Queen Elizabeth. So this is the first time that the British royals had come to America. And so that's the idea and the topic here. And so with only two stations, you would set up like multiple number ones and multiple number twos in your classroom so that they could go. You wouldn't have a big line. So that's another point, in that you would just some ideas. You would want extra stations. That way, maybe if a group finishes early, they're not waiting necessarily. Or if you've got a group that's especially slow, something to consider. Maybe you want duplicates. If you have 6 stations, maybe you want to do 2 number ones, 2 number twos, etc. If it's not chronological, that allows students to go to any open station, which again is helpful. After you're done, then let's say a following task, and I like this one a lot. Here's the task. As a group, we're going to add speech bubbles. Now that we've read the book, we've looked at the menu, we've looked at this picture, we're going to add like comic speech bubbles to these people based on what we've learned, citing or using evidence from the book about the discussion. So maybe we get something like this. Oh, I wonder if they like my hot dogs. They really are my favorite. That was my best British accent. Okay. So I think that's a cool example of using QR codes to access media, to get kids up and moving, doing those sorts of activities. Other options, thinking about outside connections, maybe you put a bunch of pictures up that involve, this is looking for patterns in nature. So either putting up pictures or, again, QR codes that take you to pictures where we're looking for patterns, math, music, science, art, whatever it happens to be. Again, so that is chat stations that allows kids to move around, have discussions, respond to prompts, videos, digital resources using QR codes.